Today, I'm going to show you how mastering 3 simple Wing Chun techniques will improve every aspect of your training. In fact, the techniques I'm about to show you have helped me to shut down countless people who have tried to test me over the last 23 years. I'm going to show you how applicable these are to all kinds of different threats, and how everything you do is just a version of these 3 techniques. Bong is pivoted this way, the Fook is pivoted this way, and the Tan is pivoted this way. So you make sure you're on either side. So how do you know which way to pivot on these? Well, the Bong energy has to do with the elbow going this way, so you're gonna have this side, the other person is right here on you, so you're on this side of them. So whatever side you are on your energy, that's the side of which foot you're gonna go on. If you're in this and you have the other person on the inside, you're going to put your weight over here again because you're on that side of them, so therefore the weight goes on that side. If you're in the Bong Sao, that means their energy is over here, and that means you're going to be over on this side. The one that looks so different is the Bong, because it has the elbow up, right? It's been called the red-headed stepchild of Wing Chun. It's not the one you want to go to at first, because the Bong Sao really refers to the humerus bone here. You've tried to come forward. You've tried to pierce forward in a Bong Sao based underneath and inside move. That's what a Bong Sao is. You've tried, and it has not worked. So then from there, you're going to roll to this. And this is where your power is. It's no longer really in the wrist, even though we have different levels of Bong Sao. We have this level, we have this level, this. All kinds of different things can be versions of Bong Sao. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. These are 3 families. Anytime you have your elbow out, it's in a Bong Sao family. Okay, so let's make it very, very simple. There's different ways to classify it, but this is the way I want you guys to think of it. To simplify it.
Subscribe to our channel and be sure to click the bell icon to be notified as new videos get uploaded.
Now let's look at the simplicity of understanding the difference between a Tan and a Fook. And it really is not necessarily the shape of the hand. When you first learn Bong Sao, you learn it as a palm-up hand. Okay? When you understand Bong Sao, you no longer need this shape of the hand. Okay? Because a Tan and a Fook can very much be attacks in any way. So this is the first concept that I want you to understand about Tan and Fook. These are both piercing actions, not static, rigid techniques, okay? They are piercing actions of attack. That's what a Tan and a Fook are. Piercing actions of attack. For instance, if we look at the Bong Sao action, Bruce, can you hold this for me for just a second? Let's say I'm in a Bong Sao to start, okay? And I want to go into the Bong Sao from the Bong Sao. As I do this, I'm going to pierce right through with this action, whether it be a pure Tan and hit, or whether it be maybe I'm tanning and hitting with this. But notice that it's an action of pierce. The Bong Sao is not spreading, okay? Even though it ends up spreading their force because you're piercing, it does wedge their force away. it is not, don't think of it like a butter knife trying to spread somebody out. Okay? A lot of people do that at first, and you'll see a lot of Wing Chun that might do that, and maybe that's how they do their Wing Chun, but it's not how we do ours. For us, this is a piercing action, and it goes right to the center. So it ends up spreading them, but you're not thinking of spreading them, you're thinking of wedging and going straight to their center. Okay, so that's very, very important. If you're doing it on the dummy, it is not that. Okay, it's that, right to the center, right? Just like I was showing you from the bong to the tan, piercing. The other end of this is their center. So when I'm coming and going through, that's their center that I'm piercing to. Not their shoulder, not anywhere further than that, right to the center, okay? So that's 2 on the Tan Sao. Let's back up just a bit to help you to understand exactly the difference between a Tan and a Fook. The Tan is inside and under. Inside and under. Bruce? My Tan Sao is inside and under him. Okay? Inside and under. The Fook Sao is considered outside and over. That doesn't mean that my elbow is out just because I'm outside. Right? It's relational. So this is the main difference between the Fook Sao, right? Whatever the hand looks like, it could be punching, that's a Fook Sao. It could be palming, it's a Fook Sao. These are the general differences between a Tan and a Fook. They can take all kinds of different shapes, but there are always piercing actions of attack. Going back to the Tan Sao, it is to the center, like I said, right? And then the fourth part of the Tan Sao is that it is a carrying-based position, right? Carrying, this is the position of carrying things. That does not mean that we are carrying the weight of someone else. We don't ever carry the weight of someone else. That would be us being substantial to substantial or yang to yang, and that's not what we want. We want to be yin to their yang, right? We want to be yang to their yin, right? So this is the concept of substantial and insubstantial. So just because it's a carrying position, and we could carry a lot of weight here if we do our shoulder correctly and structured, doesn't mean that we want to. We want to constantly seek the paths of least resistance. So carrying position does not mean we're actually carrying, okay? It just means we're inside and under. Now going to the Fook Sao, again, the Fook Sao is a piercing action of attack. A piercing action of attack. When I say this is extremely important to get in your mind. I know it's a simple way, piercing action of attack sounds very simple. But I can tell you, when you're sparring, a lot of you won't think in the same way. But when you start to think that the Fook Sao and the Tan Sao are piercing actions of attack, you'll be less rigid, you'll be less tense. You're doing actions. Wing Chun is about actions. It is never about static. And I know some of the training that we do seems very static. That is not the point. That is not the point. So don't get confused with your training development and the actual point of what you're doing in Wing Chun. A lot of people do. Okay? So, again, Fook Sao is a piercing action of attack. Number 2, you are not crossing. When you're doing a Fook Sao, you are protecting yourself from the center. That's why my elbow is as in as I can get it right now. Okay? As Bruce comes in, I've stopped him with my Fook Sao. What a lot of people do in the beginning is as he comes in, is they go and cross. Just like, and that's incorrect.
Question, so, I thought Fook Sao, I know that posting on that leg.
Correct.
Okay, well you're just saying like I'm gonna post, but I'm not gonna pivot.
I didn't say pivot. I said not cross. It's
Okay.
center. So great point.
Okay.
I want to make sure you understand. When I say cross, I'm talking about his center line. Okay, my center line to his center line, and in between my center line to his center line is something called the central plane, and that is an imaginary line like a window pane this way between my center and his. So what I'm not going to do is cross that central plane or cross his center in my Fook Sao. That's not saying that I'm not pivoting over here. That's just saying that when I go and I go to him and I do my piercing attack, it is straight to his center. Okay, so now I said this, to the center, number 3, I already talked about this, to the center and elbow in. And the very last thing is laying down pointing position. The Tan Sao is the carrying position. Well, this is the laying down pointing position. Don't get hung up on this silly looking hand. Okay? Don't get hung up on it. The point of this hand is to relax. Okay? Like there is no hand, right? Once you realize there is no hand, then you realize what's doing the work is the elbow and the forearm there. So therefore you can change it to a punch, change it to the chan. Now another reason for this soft hand like this is because it is an action that is like a cocked gun, right? A cocked gun, very relaxed, and then when we fire, right, it snaps into position. So it can also be used for sensitivity. Somebody had a question?
So I'm thinking then, so that this Fook and everything, it really becomes not about the hand at all, it's really about the arm, huh?
Yes.
This is what you're focusing on. The
Yes.
hand just becomes a secondary thing depending on what you're doing with it.
Yes. The hands become so much less relevant as you understand what really you're trying to do. And the primary things that we are doing are shoulders and hips. We're getting them in place. The secondary thing that we're doing is elbows and knees. And then the third thing that we're doing is the hands and feet. So in the beginning that's hard to understand. But just know that primary, secondary, tertiary, right? So you understand these different things. One other thing I did not mention about the Tan, Bong, and Fook. I didn't show you all the different things that could be in the families, right? I showed you that an elbow out position is very much a Bong Sao. So this would also be in the Bong Sao family, right? This could be more in a Bong Sao family because the elbow is out, right? As you start to do more shorter range, these elbow out positions kind of go away some because you're refining things and you no longer need as much Bong. Bong Sao is more for like space keeping and more something that happens when you can't get in. So when your timing and your positions get better, you need less elbows out. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's not wrong at all to have elbows out, but when you get better and better and better, you're going to need your elbows just stay on that central plane as much as possible, and it would just be a very fleeting time as you're doing your elbow out position. You need them much less, much less.
So is the Bong then, I didn't thought about it, but I guess, is it more recovery based?
Yes. The Bong Sao is something that is recovery based. You do a Bong as a transition. Okay? So, this brings me to the other point of chain punching. Okay. Which one of these is a Bong Sao? Right, because this one's out? This one because this one's out? There we go. Luke didn't take the bait. Neither one is the Bong Sao. Both. This is a Man Sao and a Wu Sao. Okay? A Man Sao and a Wu Sao. Alright? The Man is an asking hand, and the Wu is the guarding hand. Although either one could be used in a Tan or Fook position, I want to simplify it for you in the very beginning. Usually we start like this, right? So because of the foot movement and the foot positioning, my weight is on the back. My weight is not on the back, on the front. So what would this be based on my weightedness? would this be a Fook or a Tan? It's 50-50 chance, right? Would this be a Fook or a Tan based on my weighting right now? Which one's what? This one's a Tan? Okay, and this one's a...
No, that one's...
This one's a Tan?
No, the one on the other side.
This one's a Tan?
Yeah.
And this one's a...
Yes.
A Fook, based on the weightedness. Okay,
Sorry, I
good.
thought you were pointing at that hand.
Good, good. Okay, all right. So if I can continue to... Now, all right, how about this? Based on my weightedness, is this a Tan or is this a Fook?
The other way, opposite of what you just said.
Right
That's
as a
the
food.
food.
Right as a food.
Good, you guys are getting it. Okay, so where the weight is does help determine whether it's Tan or Fook-based family. Now, neither one, my elbows are out. Okay, yes, the elbow comes back a little bit, but that's perfectly fine since it's in a Wu Sao position. You only really need one of those elbows dominating the central plane at a time. All right, you don't need both of them in there all the time. Okay, don't think that. The transition. So then, if this is a Tan and a Fook, this is the yin and yang of Wing Chun, the only time we need a Bong is when we can't get one of these off. Ooh, look what it's turning into, right? So if we can just move around and do this, this would be the best, right? If we can just turn this here. We might not always be able to do that. So what might we need to do? Oh, roll this and then get out of it really quick. Just like I'm showing you the Bong Wu Tan Da drill, that's showing you maybe this didn't work. So okay, fine. Let me roll this real quick and get out of it real quick. Bong never stays. It's a transition. So hopefully that helps you understand and put it into context, make it a little simpler and clearer as to the art of Wing Chun. And it's made up of these three techniques, Tan and Fook and Bong. Right? Yeah.
Did you talk about the Bong family in terms of horizontal plane and Tan and Fook and vertical?
Yes. Yeah, so that's another way to talk about it. Elbows being up, this is more of a horizontal plane, right? Elbows down, more of the vertical plane. And when you get better and better, you operate more on that vertical plane and you don't need as much of the horizontal plane. You'll still use it, but just not as much, okay? All right, here's our first move. What is this hand a version of? Since I am here, it is more, yes, Bruce, absolutely. It is more Tan. So that shows in basically the next move we do because our weight starts to go to this side. If you're on this side of someone, your weight generally is gonna go on this side. Keep it really simple. Don't think inside, outside, anything else. Just think I'm on this side or I'm over here. Okay, so now this pull is a version of what of those three? Tan, Bong, or Fook?
Tan.
Bruce got it again. This one. We're talking about this one. Okay? Bruce got it again. It is a Tan. My weight's over here. I'm on this side. Okay? Don't look at this hand, right? Don't look at the hand. Don't get distracted by the silly hand, right? It's not. All right.
Fail.
Okay. So we're here now. What is this other hand? Is it a Fook? Absolutely, a Fook. Very good. All right. Now here. Is this a Bong, Tan, or Fook? Easy one because it's clearly a Bong. All right. The Bong is a folded position that is all about this part of our arm. Okay. It's no longer trying to extend through the hand into the target anymore. Right. So you're here now. What about this one? Is this a Tan, Fook, or Bong family?
The left?
You're the left, right?
The left?
The left. We're talking about left. Yes.
Tan.
Well, Bruce has been doing good, so you guys just want to get on his team?
No, I said Fook. I said Fook.
You said, oh, we got contrary. Here we go. We're going back and forth. Do we have a third? No?
No.
No, but this
You're
is.
going with Tan. So you're
wait
going
a
with, is
second.
that what
This
Bruce
is
said?
a
Tan,
move.
we're going with Fook.
I'm going with that.
I think I'm wrong, dude. I think I'm wrong.
Oh, now you're jumping on Bruce's team.
Because I'm on this side.
Okay, you're absolutely right. It is a Tan. So you just get on his team.
That's it.
Okay, so yes, it's a Tan. All right. So now we're coming to the next position. Okay. All right. Is this? Oh, this is pretty easy. Is this a Tan? Fook? Yeah, it's a Tan. What about this other one?
Fook.
Why on earth is it a Fook?
Because on the.
You're on that side, your weight's on that side.
I'm on
And you're on
my
the
weight's
left side
on
of the
this
guy.
side. Absolutely. You got it. All right,
Left
you
side
guys
of
are
the
getting
guy.
good here. All right, now let's go to the next one. What is the top hand? A Tan, Fook, or
Fook.
Bong? Fook, correct. What is the low hand? A Tan, Bong, or Fook?
Tan.
That's good.
Tan.
That's not a bomb. Ton.
Well, but he's on.
Tan. Still Tan.
Feels ton. Because it's kind of like this, but it's ton.
Final answer.
What do you say,
Okay.
Bruce?
Yeah,
Don't
Bruce-
let us sway you.
Bruce says
Use
it's
your original
Tan.
idea.
It's Tan.
It's
Okay.
All right, Bruce is right. We can then go to this next move. What do we have here? This is pretty easy because we got
Bong.
only 3 to choose from.
Yes.
And we don't
Bong and
certainly
Tan.
see anything. Now, all right, let me ask you this question. Here's a difficult one. All right, I just changed my hand, my silly looking
Doesn't
hand.
matter.
Right?
Tan.
I just changed my silly looking hand.
You broke
So-
your fingers.
Yeah.
And it's still a
Still
Tan.
Tan?
Yeah.
Still Tan. Yes, it is. Don't get mixed up with the hand. Cool. I think you're getting cool. All right. Go ahead and grab your mouthpieces. We're gonna spar.
Subscribe now so you don't miss out on more of these great Wing Chun lessons.